It's a little bit different out here when you get Caitlin Clark treatment. It ain't so easy peasy getting to play one-on-one, getting to just do your thing how you want to do it, when you want to do it.
Okay, this is wild. The mask is off, the charade is finished, and the so-called prophecy has collapsed. The WNBA's desperate attempt to manufacture a next Caitlin Clark just blew up in front of a national audience. Paige Bueckers, the media's hand-picked darling, the supposed heir to Clark's throne, the one hyped as the savior of women's basketball, just got hit with a brutal reality check, hand-delivered by the Seattle Storm. And let's be clear, this wasn't just a stumble. This was an exposure session, a reminder that hype melts quickly when it collides with the cold truth of WNBA-level defense. Let us know down in the comments below if you believe in the Paige Bueckers hype. Let's go.
This was the first time we saw Paige really get guarded. This is where we saw what is going to happen in year 2. This is the scout report that needs to be out there on Paige Bueckers once the Dallas Wings get good, because Dallas Wings are going to get good at some stage in her career. This was the game where I'm like, okay, we can shut up that.
For months, the narrative has been spoon-fed like it came straight from a PR playbook. Paige Bueckers was the chosen one, the inevitable torchbearer who would follow in Clark's footsteps and somehow surpass her. The media couldn't get enough of it, endlessly pushing the idea that Paige was rewriting the sport faster than Clark ever did. They pumped her up with endless headlines, painting her as the flawless package, poised, cerebral, efficient.
The elevation of one Paige Bueckers. Oh, she's better than Caitlin Clark. I mean, stab me in the eye with a spoon, for Christ's sakes. Wow. So that's a thing right now. Last night, Paige Bueckers dropped 44 points. And we're going to look at a video that just dissects and exposes a lot of that shit. Let me tell you. It exposes a lot of stuff involving Paige Bueckers getting special treatment on the court.
Remember when even Paige's old coach Gino Auriemma said this about Caitlin Clark? It set the tone of how everyone treated, or should I say, mistreated, and doubted Clark from the start.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. You know, Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
Paige snagged the stat of being the fastest player to 200 points and 50 assists, edging Clark's pace by a single game. That little nugget had analysts foaming at the mouth, screaming about how polished she was, how ready she looked compared to Caitlin. The hype train was chugging full speed, with ESPN happily selling first-class tickets. But here's the thing about hype. It only survives until reality slaps it in the face. And reality wears Seattle Storm green.
Diva of Dump Divas Kat Engelbert is breathing a sigh of relief. Her pretend friends in the mainstream media, they are trying to crown a new star. If the media has it their way, this could potentially be the new face of pretend basketball. And it's not just the woke media. There are even some in conservative media who are voluntarily biting into the shit sandwich. Headline at Outkick. No, Caitlin, no problem. Paige Bueckers can save the WNBA season.
Fresh off her overblown crowning moment, that 44-point outburst against the Sparks, Paige strolled into Seattle like she was still at her coronation parade. The problem? The Storm weren't rolling out red carpets. They rolled out traps, contests, and physicality. What followed wasn't a coronation. It was a demolition.
She went off in a game against the Los Angeles Sparks, scoring 44 points, but the craziest part about that was her shooting percentage. She shot over 80% from the field, and I tweeted about that, and I was like, that's actually insane. Give props where they are due. Shooting over 80%, scoring 44 points is actually insane. But with this game, like Paige Bueckers she put on a masterclass in scoring, and I think with that, these are some big numbers.
Paige finished with just 11 points. Not 11 in the first half, Not 11 in the opening quarter. No, 11 for the entire game. On a horrific 2 for 11 shooting night with 0 assists and a measly 2 rebounds. That box score read less like future superstar and more like a sympathy line for a player who got lost on the court. Coach Noel Quinn of Seattle even called it before tip-off. Time to see if this princess can handle the Caitlin Clark treatment. Spoiler alert, she couldn't. She folded.
For the game, you said it's going to be important to be physical with like Paige Bueckers. Can you talk about the defensive game plan for Dallas and like how your team was able to hold them to their fewest points of the season?
Yeah, it started, with our attention to detail with Paige. I thought, Slim was very physical, stayed in her space, and the actions that we guarded her in, we were very aggressive, showed multiple bodies, and kind of, made her hesitant to use the ball screen a little bit. I thought we rotated well.
And here's where it gets fascinating. Because while Paige was wilting under one night of real defensive pressure, Caitlin Clark has been living in that storm for over a year. She's the player who didn't just shake up the league, she redefined it. And what has she gotten in return? Treatment that would make NFL linebackers nod in approval. The receipts are brutal. 17% of all flagrant fouls in the 2024 WNBA season were committed against Caitlin Clark alone. That's not basketball, that's open season targeting.
Paige Bueckers got Caitlin Clark treatment for the first time in her career, and it looked bad. It looked real bad. Everybody was running around. Yeah, she was cooking 44 points versus the Sparks. They didn't play a lick of defense, letting this girl play one-on-one basketball in every area of the floor, letting her post up in the mid-range area one-on-one. Now, I'm giving credit. She's a bucket in one-on-one, especially from that mid-range, from the free throw line down area. But this is the first time we watch teams actively be persistent about taking away her spots and what she wants to do.
Look no further than the Chicago Sky, who made it a personal hobby to body Clark. They accounted for 80% of those flagrant fouls. Meanwhile, Paige was floating around getting coddled like she was still playing a light scrimmage in college. The first time she faced Clark-level intensity, she shriveled. Her shots vanished, her efficiency evaporated, and her game looked hollow. Seattle's defense treated her like the star she was hyped to be, and exposed her as anything but.
She got blitzed. She got doubled. And do you want to know what she did as soon as she got blitzed and doubles? She passed. Paige Bueckers, look, she played decent amount early in the game. The game was kind of over and she got subbed out. Paige Bueckers shot 7 times.
The media, of course, had been parading her shooting percentages like gospel. Paige's smooth 47.4% clip was trumpeted endlessly, contrasted against Clark's rookie 41.7%. They sold it as undeniable proof that Paige was more polished. But here's what they conveniently skipped. Clark was taking the hardest shots in the league while absorbing hits that barely even drew whistles. Paige's pretty numbers came off soft defense and wide-open looks. When she was finally guarded like a star, those numbers collapsed instantly. 2 makes on 11 attempts. That's not efficiency. That's a mirage dissolving the second it's tested. Meanwhile, Clark continues to torch defenses designed to break her. She takes contested threes from 28 feet, drives through hacks, shrugs off elbows, and still delivers highlight reels that sell out arenas. Her resilience makes Paige's struggles look even more glaring. Clark has proven she can take punishment and still perform at a generational level. Paige got one taste of that pressure and vanished.
Paige Bueckers, let me ask you this. How did it feel to be blitzed and played 94 feet before you even get a chance to bring the ball up court like your name was Caitlin Clark, aka my precious Cece? You didn't like that, huh? You hear me? You out there was looking like you was about to cry. Yeah, so what do your fans have to say now? Excuse me, where are you Paige Bueckers fans at? That's y'all MVP and face of the league, right? She's boring. She's not good enough. She gets special treatment. But understand, she kept getting blitz after blitz after blitz.
Let's not sugarcoat what we saw. Paige Bueckers got a single game's worth of Caitlin Clark treatment, and she collapsed. The media's next Caitlin Clark crumbled into a next off-the-bench option. This is the same Paige the analysts swore was superior in every way, more poised, more fundamentally sound, more efficient. Yet when the spotlight got hot and the defense got physical, she looked lost. That's the difference between hype and history. And Caitlin Clark has been writing history since day one. Paige Bueckers? She's just another name on the long list of players who couldn't handle the weight of Clark's shadow. The numbers, the film, and the narrative all tell the same story. Paige Bueckers isn't the heir to Caitlin Clark. She's a product of the media hype machine that finally got unplugged. When the Seattle Storm exposed her, they didn't just hand her a bad game. They ripped the curtain back on an illusion the WNBA and ESPN have been desperate to sell since Clark's arrival changed everything. And once fans saw the truth, the hoax collapsed.
Look up how the WNBA played against Caitlin Clark in terms of the defensive strategy, in terms of the other basketball teams around the WNBA, what they did against Caitlin Clark versus how they've handled Paige this year. Everybody wants to act like Paige is so much better than Caitlin. They're certainly not playing defense on Paige the way they played on Caitlin. They're certainly not attacking her with unnecessary fouls the way they attacked Caitlin with unnecessary fouls last year. So in the 2024 season, there were 35 flagrant fouls called. Caitlin Clark received 17% of the entire season's flagrant fouls, 17%. I mean, we've seen all the injuries, we've seen all the fights, the MMA fights that the WNBA players have gotten into this year. There haven't been 35 flagrant fouls called.
Let's look at the raw stats, because those are what the media has been leaning on to sell Paige as the next big thing. Caitlin Clark's rookie year, 19 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds a night, all while being hacked, bumped, and fouled harder than anyone else in the league.